Okay, sorry for the interruption. Am I audible right now? Okay. Welcome to Daily News Analysis by Tathastu ICS. I am Manisha Armugam here to discuss the Hindu newspaper for the day 23rd January 2026. A warm good evening to everybody. Okay. So, you will get this PDF in the description box, as well as you can join our Telegram channel by scanning this QR code, okay, for the regular updates. Let's see today's articles. Okay. So, Board of Peace. So, Mr. Trump is doing so many things globally, okay, to push himself towards a global political leader, okay. So, now we could see he is forming a parallel forum for UN, okay. So, that is a Board of Peace. Majorly, they are discussing about Israel and Hamas conflicts, okay. So, we will see what is Board of Peace and how it will work. Even India has been invited for this Board of Peace meeting, but India didn't go. So, we will see why India took that decision and what if India is going forward for Board of Peace and all. Okay? So, it will be important for us, as you know, in our GS2 paper, okay, the IR perspective and in the foreign policy perspective. Okay, always keep your syllabus with you, okay, and keep marking the keywords as well. Okay? Next, Himalayan ecocide. This is an article based upon the Himalayan region disasters. Okay, currently we could able to see lot of climate related disasters are keep on coming on. Okay, like flash floods, cloud burst. Okay, Uttarakhand is very much prone to cloud burst nowadays. So it is important for us. Again, editorials are opinions. We have to take the issue from there and we have to take the data from there. Apart from that, we should not take the criticism that is against government. Okay, we should not take the biased approach, okay, of the author. Okay, instead we will be moving on to the what essence that is needed for UPSC. So it is important for our GS paper, okay, and also GS2 paper. I will tell you how. Mostly it is based upon the disaster. So it is GS3, okay, in the disaster management, and also it is somewhere or the other very important region for our climate resilient as well. Okay. So here by GS2 paper, why it is important? The infrastructure policies that has been taken up in this Himalayan region, that is causing another add on to the disasters. Okay. So in the city planning and also the infrastructure based planning, we need this to be focused in GS2 paper also. Then the third article will be BRICS India Summit. Again, so what could be India's agenda in the BRICS Summit, because 2026 India is going to host the BRICS Summit, right? So what could be the ideologies can be proposed there, okay? So what are all the dialogues that India is supposed to give, okay? So it is based again basically on the opinion. We'll just see about BRICS, a very small brief, because it is keep on coming, it is a recurring topic. So once the summit has happened, we would be able to get the summary of it, like what are all the countries have been invited as a guest countries, okay, and apart from that what all have been proposed, and out of those proposed agendas, how many of them have been signified, okay, all these things we will be seeing after the BRICS summit, okay. Before that we will be seeing the opinion about it, okay, what could be the major course of action for us, right. So it is important for us in our GS2 paper in the IR perspective. Then the drug sample quality. So it is a very small article, okay. We will be talking about the mandate who is regulating all these quality standards, okay, in India. This is what we are going to see in this. Last one is DRDO is about to launch its missile, represent its missile in the Republic Day parade, okay. We will see its features. So these are all the important things for the day. With no further delay, let's get into the session. I hope you all have the syllabus with you. Okay. Those who have already prepared, okay, and those who have already have a basics in UPSC preparation, you can opt for Parthasarathy mentorship. You will get a guidance and a schedule, so that you will be always intact with your studies and you will be getting the best minds guided you. And also GS Foundation course, we are starting from 1st of Feb. You can join our foundation course and you can pursue a great learning from us, and also pre-sure test series. If you are giving 2000 prelims, you can test your knowledge and your academic excellence through your test series, and also BA plus UPSC program. If you wanted to use your time along with your graduation, then you can opt for BA plus UPSC program. The first article. See, this article is completely based upon what happened. Okay, India is not actually present in this Board of Peace Summit. Okay, that is what this is talking about, but we are not going to focus on this. Instead, we are going to focus on what is this Board of Peace, what is it actually focusing on, okay, and what is the threat that is India is having, why it didn't attack. So, out of Mr. Trump have invited our Honorable President Mr. Narendra Modi also for this summit, but we didn't represent India there because there is a nexus. India actually focus upon the multilateralism and it always focus on the middle path. Okay, it will never align with any bloc that is appearing in any conflicts. Okay, so we don't go to the blocks, the conflicted blocks. Instead, we will be in the middle way. Okay, it will be in the both win-win situation for two-party system. Okay, so the two-state ideology of India is always proposed. Okay, that is a major reason, and also the recurring key term, that is strategic autonomy. Okay, because of these things only India have not joined this summit right now. Okay, we will see what is BOP. So as you know, BOP is Board of Peace. Actually, it's a voluntary international forum. It is neither formed through any treaty nor with any coalition of countries. Okay, instead, US President Trump, he himself proposed this forum, and he will be he proposed that this forum, the Board of Peace, will be working upon the peace maintenance in the Israel and Hamas problem. Okay, so if you know, Israel and Hamas problem that is going since 2023, it is not facing any end till now. Okay, so based upon the Jerusalem ownership only. Okay, the land which is in Jerusalem, the place that is actually they are claiming, the Hamas is claiming it is belongs to Palestine to them, and also Israel is also claiming it is our holy place. So this conflict is going on. UN is also have given the resolution for ceasefire, but the problem is Russia and China have abstained. So there still, even though the Russia and China have been abstained, still these resolution for the ceasefire have been signed. Okay, but the problem here is it is taking a lot of time. So now Trump is trying to propose himself. He is trying to represent himself as a peacekeeper. Okay, and that's how he formed the Board of Peace. So it is a voluntary international forum. It is not created through any body. Okay, but instead he have came out of UN. Most of the UN groups he have came up. You know? So now right now he is forming a new forum so that his upper hand will be there globally. So the member countries, the partner countries will be settled down below the US, because US will be having the huge power. But in UN, it will be group of countries who have the hold in the global politics. But here it will be majorly of US only. Okay. So what is the objective that they have claimed is Israel-Hamas conflict ceasefire will be proposed, because as we know, UN's ceasefire is yet to be completely come into the action. Okay, and also they are planning for the humanitarian assistance. Okay, so they will be giving humanitarian assistance to the areas through Rafah. Okay, so Rafah is the only place where the humanitarian assistance has been provided. Okay, so only there Israel is not controlling that area. Okay, that is the only area it is not controlled by Israel. Through that phase only we are giving all the humanitarian assistance to Palestine. Okay. So it maintains ceasefire in Israel-Hamas conflict. It claims, Trump says that it is a UN's parallel to UN Security Council, as UN has the veto politics. As we know, Russia, China, all these countries will take their veto power as a permanent members. Okay, so there will be a problem if there is any issue. One member or the two members veto power would change the complete situation, and we cannot derive a resolution or a solution for a conflict very easily. Okay, so there plays a veto power huge role. So he is telling, Trump is claiming that in board of peace there will be the situation like faster decision making and a quicker resolution restored. Okay. Then it is already existing ceasefire is to be done in a full force, but it is taking time. Okay. So again, the faster decision making. So the invitation have been given to 59 countries, but only 19 countries like Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, okay, and also some countries, Turkey, United States, UAE, okay, United Arab Emirates, kind of countries have been joined the board of COP, but majorly there is major of the countries have not attended it. So what is the issue with BOP? So there is no legal mandate, okay, so there is no treaty being formed, okay, there is no coalition of countries as a board members, there is no legal mandate, there is acceptance globally, which we have talked here. 59 countries have been invited, but only 19 countries have been attended. So globally its recognition is very less. Okay? And one more major thing, Gaza is not mentioned anywhere in the report that has been from board of. Okay. The major issue here, why India is not actually focusing on this. We focus on two-state solution, but here it is Gaza itself is missing. So India's absence takes a position in not attending. Okay, India's belief as multilateralism, okay, and India's strategic autonomy. By signing or by engaging in board of peace, what India will be going through is India will slowly, gradually lose its strategic autonomy. As you know, right now we are facing too many tariff burden on us, and that is actually affecting in our economy also. Okay? The countries like Iran, there also we are forced to come out, okay, the Chambar port, so and so, and also we are right now we are having negative net FDI also, as Indian currency is going down and down because of these tariffs. India is not able to retain its foreign direct investments. Investors are getting more and more panicked according to Indians' currency fall. Okay, so these kind of economic turmoils India is basically facing right now because of tariffs. So India will be slowly, gradually losing its strategic autonomy if we sign this board of peace. Then we believe in two-state solution. Neither this nor that should be benefited. Both the people, both the state have to be benefited. That is what India's ideology is. And here Palestinians are marginalized in this board of peace. Okay, their major concern is all about Israel only, not about the Palestinian people who are getting affected there. So we always go for the victims most, right? But here both the areas having casualties, but in the board of peace it is always marginalized for the Palestinians. So we are not getting into this summit. Then what are all the pressures that we actually going through? External pressure, okay. So as we know, our friendly countries like Saudi Arabia, which we actually rely upon for the technologies, oil, okay, and most of our southern people will be going for Saudi Arabia and also Muscat kind of areas for occupation, okay. So this international relation could be have a fragile fragment, okay. And also Turkey area, not India is directly engaged with Turkey, but in some places and in some areas India has to extend its relation with Turkey. So before extending its relation, if there is any conflict or if there is any contradictory in ideologies, we are not able to get the fullest of the relationship. Okay. So UAE is also a major country that India and UAE has a very great coordination. Okay. So if we are not joining this, we will get the external pressure from these countries. Pakistan, you know, US and Pakistan are very good friends, right? So if we are not joining it, obviously Pakistan will be facing proposing so many issues that related with India. So one of the major reason why India is not aligned with the Board of Peace is here Pakistan is also one of the country, okay, and here they will be having a very good coordination with US. Okay, after Gaza, it may talk about Kashmir problem. Okay, India Pakistan problem also can be brought into the forum. So that is why India is concerning about this as well. Pakistan participation maybe led to Kashmir issue, and US trade tariff, you know. So the tariff burden that right now we are having and the trade conflicts that we are having with US, that is also one of the major reason to show our strategic autonomy here. Okay. So by showing the negligence or not attending these, we could say US that see, India is a strategic autonomic country. We have a good economy, okay, but if you are keep on forcing us to do something, we will not always nodding our head to your decisions and suggestions. Okay. Here, one more problem is rubber stamp risk. So, as we say, India's economy is kind of in a instability right now. It's not exactly instability; it is in a risk right now because of these tariff burdens and everything. Okay, we are not able to go on with Iran, even though we wish to get oils and energy security from Iran, but we are forced by US to do so. Okay, so these kind of things, it will aggravate when we get into this Board of Peace. So we have to follow whatever the decision is taken by Mr. Trump. Why I am telling it is Mr. Trump? Because Board of Peace is majorly of the president will be Donald Trump and the executives will be his family and friends. So it is kind of a unilateral proposal. Okay, so we will be having this rubber stamp risk. We cannot oppose the ideologies there. Okay, so we have to go through and obey whatever the decisions that have been. So again, as we have talked about, we'll be focusing on the keywords that is important for our UPSC: strategic economy, foreign policy, okay, tariffs, and also the international relation with our West Asian countries. Then, so we will be providing humanitarian assistance to ROFA. So we will be giving our humanitarian assistance to both the countries. Okay, through you might have seen there is lots and lots of, first we evacuated people from there. Then secondly, we are providing humanitarian assistance like food, clothing, or medicines. Okay, so these kind of basic necessities we are providing through ROFA for this conflict. So another one, India is going through UN-led resolution because UN has a proper recognition global in the global forum. Okay, and also UN will be having a proper resolution because it is kind of a it is multilateral resolution will be there instead of unilateral. Okay, it will not be based on one's idea or one's interest. Instead, it will be having a multipolar and multilateralism ideologies. And avoid third party mediation. We always stand aside when it comes to other nations' problem. Okay, so Somalia, land, okay, all these kind of conflicts we will be standing outside only. We will not be meddle into any two countries' problem. Okay, when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, we stand aside. Okay, and also major of the issues we always stand outside because it is a internal matters. It is between two countries. So India will always stand outside to mention its stand for the strategic autonomy, and it always respects the sovereignty of other countries. Okay, so that is the the thing why we are not meddling into other countries' problem. Okay, so is it clear till now? So this is how we are going to read this. What is BOP? What is the claim? The objective it is telling. What are the issues that is mentioning? Okay, and how it is performing. What is the issue with that particular forum? Okay, what is India's stand? This is a major part that we have to focus on. India's stand and the reason for India's stand, and what are all the external things and the internal conflicts that we will be going through. Apart from that, what India is right now doing. Okay. So this is how we will be practicing. Then moving on, a dangerous march towards Himalayan ecosite. Here again, Himalayan ecosite. Okay, Himalayas is India's young fold mountains. I am not getting too much into the technicalities because if I start teaching in it, it will become a geography class rather than a DNA. Okay, so instead we will be talking about the major ideologies and the major terms. Okay, so young fold mountains. Okay, it actually regulates the climate, and it the Himalayan areas, it is regulating our climate, food security, and also our ecological biodiversity. Okay, apart from that, agriculture, as we mentioned in the food security, and culture is also depend upon this. Major of our rivers are from Himalayan area. So Himalayas is such a place which is strategically very important for us. As a frontier it is with us. Okay, the China, it is bordering us with China, it is helping us to maintain the security. Okay, and also apart from that, we are getting a good river, maintenance of good river health also. Okay, the biodiversity and the ecosystem in the Himalayan areas are rich. Okay, and the culture is also very rich and distinctive, and apart from that, the rivers that is flowing through and the glacial gaps that we have, the geographical features that we actually have in Himalayas, the different and a vast and a kind of a huge kind of resources are available there. Okay, so it is very much important. So this article is talking about how the infrastructure program is adding the disasters to already existing climate disasters. Okay, we will see how it is. So areas like Uttarakhand, okay, Himachal Pradesh, so these places are prone to, majorly prone to the climate disasters. Okay, cloud bursts, flash floods, avalanches. Okay, so these kind of natural disasters will be there. But the problem here is the population density is less. But still, why we are occurring? Why we are getting all these frequent climate disasters? It is major supporter is the infrastructure here. Okay, so here we see the floods will be there, landslides will be there, cloud burst will be there. Okay, cloud burst is something because of the climate. Okay, so that is not directly through infrastructure, but instead other areas, the drainage system, and also the heaviness, the terrain that actually at the Himalayas are very difficult terrain and a very fragile terrain. Sorry, terrain. Okay, so it is very fragile because it is very much easy to landslides will be very easily happening. Then highly fragile, as I have mentioned, infrastructure program here through Chardham road widening. Okay. So here the government is widening the roads for tunnel purposes and also the better connectivity. Okay, so we are extending the roads here. This is making the problem by uprooting the trees from there. Okay, so the decoder trees is there, so it is a very important ancient trees that actually holds the land. Okay, that prevents the landslides, that prevents the floods that is hitting into the cities. Okay, these kind of trees are being afforested for this road widening. So here we are losing two things. One is the ecosystem and the biodiversity that we have. Okay, we are losing the indigenous trees. Okay, our ancient trees, that is very much important. That is, we are losing that, and because of this we are losing the biodiversity and the land grip. Okay, so we are completely losing the land soils fertility, okay, and also other environment related issues are going through, and will be again having that climate problem. So afforestation eventually leads to global warming. Okay, the areas will be warmed up, we will be our glaciers will be melting down, we will be getting floods again. Okay, there will be no proper drainage system for our water to evacuate. Instead, it will again ruin the it will ruin the lands through landslides. Okay, the soils will be eroded, our biodiversity will be completely sink into the floods. Okay, so these kind of problems are occurring due to this Chardham road widening. Okay, then actually these trees, no, these trees actually very important. They prevent landslides as their roots hold the land. They actually prevent the landslides there, okay, and a natural avalanche barrier. So there will be very less avalanches will be occurring. Okay, then it actually maintains, these trees actually maintains the river ecological system and also rivers quality. It actually maintains the rivers quality also. It is very important. The Ganga will be maintained through these trees. Okay, the health of these rivers will be maintained. Okay, the dissolved oxygen in that area is also maintained by this deodar trees. Okay, so ecologically is also it is important, as a diversity is also very important. Strategically, in the location based also it is very important. How it is location based? Because it is maintaining the disasters. Okay, it is actually helping us from preventing disasters. Okay, okay. Then actually it is the Bhagirathi eco-sensitive zone. It is very important. Okay, the homework will be you have to read about Bhagirathi eco-sensitive. Okay, okay. So these trees are much important. Let's come to the issue that have been discussed by the article. Okay, so the author is telling the infrastructure that have been proposed and it is going to happen. Okay, we having an unsafe development. This is an unsafe development where we are uprooting certain necessity things and we are widening our infrastructure, which eventually led us for the repeated disasters. Okay, the climate change is also adding upon, as we see cloud bursts. Okay, the global warming, the heated areas in the Himalayas are keeping it very prone to flash floods. Okay, so the climate change and the unsafe development, the widening of the roads, the uprooting of the forest, all these things are will be giving the repeated disasters. Okay, so the repeated disasters, what it will be losing our people, will be losing the land's fertility. Okay, and we will be losing huge economy as well. Okay, then the climate change risk the multiplier, and also there's a problem of policy gap where we didn't actually learn about the terrain and we didn't properly plan the infrastructure plan there. So the government has to learn about the terrain and they have to plan properly for the usage of the land. Whatever the land type is, there should be a proper study about the land and there should be proper implementation for those infrastructure plan. Okay. So the governance failure is also addressed here. So we can use this article, the example of Himalayan floods. Okay, the disaster that is actually Himalayan areas are focusing on. There we can use for the infrastructure and government policies gaps issue. Okay, so we can use this. Okay, now talking about the Himalayas, I have already talked about it. Still, we at its importance. So, as we have discussed, it is very much important for our climate. Okay, and apart from that, food security, as the plains of Ganga and Yamuna are getting water from Himalayan areas. Okay, so it is very much important for our food security. Okay, there the distant culture that belongs to India is also in the culture is also in the extinction level. Okay, so we have to focus on the major rivers are regulated from this, and actually Himalayas are regulating the monsoon of India also. Okay, so it is very much important for the monsoon regulation, agriculture, and as we have seen the biodiversity importance as well. Till now, is there any doubt? Else we will move. So it is a young cold mountain. Okay, has hanging glaciers. Okay, the leaden valleys also is there. High seismicity. Okay, so it is very much prone to earthquake. Very sensitive terrain, so that will be always having the threat of being earthquakes. Okay, so this is for the Himalayas. Okay, here. Now the article is talking about the data. It is 50% faster. Okay, so we are getting the climate change 50% faster than earlier, and it is having erratic rainfall. There is no regular rainfall. What we see there, Himalaya is having the power of regulating the monsoon, but because of these problems in the infrastructure, some climate change effects, we are getting the eradicating rainfalls. Okay, cloud burst is often. Okay, and apart from that, snows are getting less in our winters. So it actually used to be snows, okay, in the winters, but right now we are getting snowless winters, so which will be eventually going towards the forest fires. Okay, and we will be losing the leopards, okay, and that tigers that will be in the Himalayan areas. So we will be having very less zoological lives also. Zoological life is animals, flora and fauna is also. Okay, then here the important thing for us is National Mission for Himalayan Climate. Okay, so this forum have been given the sustained livelihood. Okay? There should be a sustainable livelihood, but these infrastructure plans are violating it because it is actually challenging the livelihoods that is presented there. Okay, so the another homework is we have to read about Himalayan climate mission also. Okay, so the disaster resilient infrastructure have to be maintained. Okay, so whatever the infrastructure plan, whatever the plan that is policies that is government is bringing up, it should always keep that in mind. Himalayan ranges should be considered with culture, biodiversity. There should be no threat for these things. Okay, and we have to focus upon the SDGs as well. Okay, so mention the sustainable development goals now. What and all is needed here? Climate action के लिए कौन सा है? Okay, 13 is there. Okay, action, climate action is for 13 SDGs. Okay, so these kind of things we have to focus. So whenever if it is a environment related, okay, you should, it is a mandatory to read about the sustainable development. Okay. Moving on, BRICS India Summit green and resilient agenda. Okay, so green, what it is about green? Again, coming back to the environment and the climate change issues here. It is completely of somebody's opinion what could be the agenda of India. So we are not taking it much seriously, but we are just taking the crux of it. What if it is a green and resilient agenda, what it is coming under. Okay, so we are going to see this. BRICS summit. So BRICS is actually based started with Brazil, South Africa, India, China. Okay, so it is a coincided forum with UNFCCC. Okay, and so what the author is talking about here is BRICS summit, which India is going to be the host in 2026. We have to set an agenda instead of hosting it. Okay, so it is India should not be stopping by hosting the summit. Instead, we have to propose an agenda. We have to propose an idea there about what is the need of the hour. Okay? So the purpose will be of climate resilient. The author is telling is about the climate resilience should be our purpose. Okay, plus inclusive green development. Okay, so what is inclusive green development? Red or really sorry, I'll use red. Okay, so inclusive green development should be there. Okay, so it is again talking about the infrastructure and also the ideas of net zero, okay, clean energy and less emission. So these are major ideas that the author is proposing here in the inclusive green development, where as a global player we will be going with these ideologies. Okay, as a global partner and as a country along with other countries we will be. Okay, so he is stating that there is a vacuum in global climate leadership. Here it is a very sensitive and it is a very important problem here. Okay, the thing here is there is no proper climate leadership. There is two kind of countries. Okay, one country who have already having a good economy, they have achieved very good industrial areas. The second country, second part of the countries are like they are still developing, they are underdeveloped and still developing countries. So these kind of countries are facing the issues for their development, and also to achieve that sustainable development we have to focus on more industrialization, which eventually leading to this carbon emission and also other problems related to the environment. So India being a high carbon emitter, okay, we have been globally suggested and advised to move to cleaner energy, but the problem here is again we are still a developing country. Our manufacturing sector is under the developing nature. Okay, so if we put greener energy right now, we have to skip our manufacturing industry, and this may slow down our growth globally. Okay, so this kind of problem. So the already developed countries are telling that now it's your turn, you are emitting too much. Okay, already they have emitted so many carbon. Okay, so already they have spoiled the whole ecosystem, but now they are claiming that India like countries who are emitting carbons right now should take the responsibility for it. They have to be accountable for the emissions that they are going on. They will not provide us any fund. Okay, the developed countries will not be giving any fund or assistance to the developing countries. Instead, they will be asking them to move to cleaner energy. So this is the exact problem that we have right now. So what we have to do is we have to take the leadership here, climate leadership. So instead of doing these blame games like you give us fund, already you have developed so much and you have emitted so much and now we are paying for it. So instead of these blame games, we have to take the leadership and we have to focus on two areas. One is moving towards cleaner energy, and the second thing is getting developed and focusing on the other manufacturing sectors where we have to impulse our growth. Okay, so these kind of things have to be done. So that is what he is telling, that there is a vacuum in global climate leadership. Everybody will be talking about, okay, we have to move to global clean energy. We will not be rely upon the fossil energy or non-renewable energy. Okay, there should be less carbon. But when it comes to taking the accountability or the responsibility for these emissions, nobody is ready to it. Even India cannot take the accountability as we started this kind of growths right now. Okay, it is already have been done. Major part have been done by the developed countries. So how can we take that accountability for what they have done, right? So when it comes to the responsibility, neither of the parties in taking much efforts in that. So this has to be a climate leadership. Instead of taking the whole responsibility, we will be giving the shared responsibility. That is what given point. Okay, next. So BRICS is acting as a major voice of global south as well. Okay, so in what is the problems that is actually being discussed with the BRICS? The infrastructure risk that we have. okay, the health and livelihood, these are the major problems that will be discussed and will be having the resolutions for this. Okay, so you have to and BRICS is one of the forum that is directly dealing with UNFCCC, as I have already told you. Okay, so there is a dialogue between UNFCCC and BRICS where the southern globe can propose their ideas there. Okay. So here we have a very good voice. So this we have to focus on. Okay, so the resilient thing, we will see what it is. Renewable energy. Okay, so moving towards the cleaner energy, emission reduction should be there. Okay, so the emissions, the technologies like BS6. Okay, so these kind of technologies have to be proposed more. Moving towards EV, again it is giving the problem for critical and rare earth minerals. So that is also be kept in the loop. Okay, so emission reduction के लिए हम कुछ करना ही पड़ेगा. Okay, we have to do something for it. And net zero targets are the resilient over green that we have already discussed. Okay. So what can be done? The adaptation, disaster preparedness and social protection. So if we move towards these kind of agendas, if we propose these kind of global leadership, we will be able to get the disaster preparedness. See, as India or area where it has a very distant combination of features, okay, the geographical features, like we are kind of a subcontinent, right? So for us it is not easy to regulate the disaster management all the time. Instead we can get this disaster preparedness from EU kind of nations where they have already got the ideas and where they have already successful in this kind of disaster preparedness. We can get the technologies, we will be getting the norms and rules, so that will be helpful for us, okay, in mitigating the disasters. And the social protection should be. So this is what from this, actually this is the opinion again, okay, we are not getting into too much, okay. Instead we will be focusing once the BRICS summit has been completed, okay. So that time we will be able to get the real outcome there, okay. Okay, again, so 167 drug samples flagged for quality lapses in December. Hope it is readable for you. Here, Central Drug Standard Control Organization, okay, they have founded that out of 74 samples, okay, so it is mentioned that they are not getting the quality that have been mentioned, okay. So the quality have to be maintained, but it is not there. And also the state drug testing laboratories identifies 93 samples are not having the quality, okay. So this have been uploaded in the portal, okay, but the list is not actually important. Instead it is important which ministry mandates this, okay. So what is the actual roles and functions and the authorities that have CDSEO has actually, okay. So these are the things that we are going to right now. I mentioned, okay, Central Drug Standard Control Organization, then India's National Regulatory Authority for Drugs, and also the medical devices. It gives the approval as well. Okay, here we are going to see in two different terms. What is the actions and the roles and regulations of the roles and responsibilities of the central part and also the state part. Okay, there is two different things here. So overall, it maintains the drug quality, medical devices, and the cosmetics and diagnostics also. It comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay, so this is important. Their actual objective, okay, the core objective is important here. Then the administrative control for the administrative control of CDSEO will be Drugs Controller General of India. We just have an idea, okay. This will be mostly in the prelims only. 90% you can expect this topic from prelims only. Okay. So what they actually do, the center will be doing, the central regulatory will be doing the approval of new drugs. If there is any new drugs are giving, proposed or covered, so they will be testing it and they will be giving the approval. Okay, then the clinical trials also will be mandated and regulated by them. Apart from that, vaccines will be checked, the medical devices that we usually use, okay, be it any X-ray machine, anything it would be, so they will be mostly checking it. So the regulation will be with them, and the import of drugs and cosmetics also will be regulated by CDSCO. Okay. Then the quality standards also will be majorly taken care by CDSCO. Here we are coming for the state. So what state will be doing? The manufacturing and the licensing part will be given, have been given to the state laboratories. Okay, the sale and distribution of those medical devices and also those cosmetic and drugs will be regulated by state. Okay, the sales and distribution. Apart from that, the enforcement, the laws, the regulations and the rules, and also the supply also will be made through this. This is in the hand of state. What important in this article? Nothing other than that. We have to see mostly about the body. Okay, who is regulating at under which ministry does it comes? Okay, so the body. Okay, ministry. Who is the regulator? The roles and the authority have to be focused on these kind of bodies. Okay. Next. Is it clear till now? If there is any doubt, please let me know. It will take 2 minutes. Okay. So if you have any doubt, please let me know right now, or else we will forward. Okay. Any doubts then further? Oh. Now, DRDO is about to feature its missile in the Republic Day parade. Okay. So here it is only given that here it is given that in the 77th Republic Day, okay, the Bharat Prav 2026 at the Red Fort, the missile is going to be featured there. Okay, so what it is? The long range anti-ship hypersonic missile. What you could see here, long range. Let's bifurcate this. Long range, okay. So in oceans or in the maritime security, the warships or the other countries' naval ships can be targeted and they can be distracted, okay, in case of any war or something. The longest range, okay. So anti-ship, basically the naval vessels, the vehicles that we have, to distract them we are going to use it, and the hypersonic missile. So we will discuss about what is hypersonic here. Okay, so this is a major crux that we need to focus here. Okay. Okay, here hypersonic. Hypersonic, it is extremely fast. Okay, it goes around 6,125 km/h. Okay, in technical terms, we can say 5 plus Mach. Okay, so this is how we will be measuring its fastness and also maneuverability. Okay, so it is that you cannot easily detect it. It can change its path at any way. It is not like a जैसे ballistic missile and cruise missile have their own paths, right? ऐसा होता है नहीं तो ऐसे होता है, So this kind of missile, instead we cannot, in this hypersonic missile, we will be not able to detect its exact path. So the destruction of the missile will be difficult for the opponent countries. Okay, so that is what given here, and it is very much needed for modern naval warfare. So it is not like two different countries naval vessels will be doing the war, or it will be facing one each other, okay, very closely. It will be like modern warfare is like you will sit at your home, you will just have to press a button, okay, not like the North Korean authority, okay, but instead you can operate it from a distance also. See, so that is what it is mentioned here. It is very much important for our modern naval warfare. Okay, it goes beyond the range. Okay, so here it is again talking about we cannot find its path. Okay, the ideology, it is actually against the aircrafts carriers, basically the anti-ships we are talking about. Okay, the aircraft carriers we can destroy them, and apart from that we can destroy the amphibious ships. You know, amphibious, which is we can actually, it can work from land and also from the water body. So that is amphibious ships. So this we can destroy, and it can destroy the destroyer as well. Okay. Then moving on, the system. Okay, inertial navigation system. It can move at any way. Okay, it is the radar cannot detect its presence. Okay, it has a navigation, so a precise attack will be there. Okay, so as it has the GPS and the inertial navigation system, the precision will be very accurate. Okay, and radar and terminal seekers, as we have radar, it cannot be. Okay, the important for these missile is long range anti-ship hypersonic missile. The importance here is we are going through the China's intrusion, okay, in the Indian Ocean region. Indian Ocean region is a very crucial and a very important strategical location for India, as it has our economical exclusive economic zones. Okay, we have a lot of resources. Okay, and apart from that, for the trade and also the strategic position for the maritime security, Indian Ocean region is very much important. So securing the Indian Ocean region is very much important with this missile. So the indigenous Atmanirbhar and many other Make in India progress kind of indigenous products is very much important, so that our technology will be with us only. We don't have to depend upon much from the imports from other countries for the defense and defense equipments. Okay, instead we can rely upon our own products. Okay, that our technology also will be going high. By developing these kind of missiles, we would be able to draw the foreign forex. Okay, because we will be able to sell these kind of missiles to even more different countries, like African countries, the bordering countries, okay, the coastal bordering countries, and other countries like instead of France or Germany, we can move Iran. All these kind of areas we can give our missile technology, and it is very much important for our maritime security. Again, it comes for resources, okay, evacuation, and also the China's aggression there. And apart from that, the economical reasons that we have discussed, the naval developments like the port developments in Sri Lanka and other joint exercises, and also other naval military exercises that is going through in Indian Ocean region, to combat that, it is important for India to develop these kind of things. So such a huge and important project have been, that will be featured in the Republic Day, okay, 77th Republic Day. DRDO will be representing. So if there is any doubt, just do those two works. Okay. If there is any other doubt, please let us know in the comments. Well, okay. So I hope today's session is kind of informative. Okay, and please do read the syllabus. Okay, according to, we will be telling you the GS paper. Okay, apart from that, you have to work on the keywords. You have to work on the complete syllabus where it is inlining with. Okay, again I want to tell you, newspaper reading is not about mugging up things, or it is not about just writing the notes about the data. Okay, it is about how you would be able to give the global and the current trends, okay, in your answer paper. Okay, the global perspective, what India stand, you have to defend India's government. Okay, you should, that is why I am keep on telling you, editorial you should get the holistic idea, not the biasness of the author. Okay, so if you take this kind of ideas, that would be very much great to inculcate in your paper, that will actually bring so much marks for you. More than a marks, you will be able to understand what is, as a administrator or as a policy maker, you would be able to understand the nexus and challenges. That is a core objective of preparing for UPSC through these policies and everything. Okay, so the major concern should be not by hearting the things, instead you have to work towards the solution oriented preparation. Okay, so thank you so much, all the very best. We will meet soon again. Thank you.